Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to Melinda's Messy Sink. Happy Valentine's Day, almost! Today, we are making cake pops. Today is a collaboration video. It is called Treats for My Sweet. This collaboration is hosted by Desiree from Friendly. I will have Desiree's channel listed below, as well as a playlist of all of the creators who made great treats for you. All right, so to get started, the very first thing we're gonna do is we are going to just bake a cake mix from the box. We're not doing anything special. We're gonna follow the exact directions on the back. Our cake just came out of the oven. We're gonna let this cool completely. I have my food processor here. I have my knife to where I can cut the cake in the pan. And all I'm going to do is just cut this cake in sections. It can be big sections, it can be small sections. The one thing I do want to tell you before we start, this is just the way that I do it. Everybody kind of has their own way of doing this. I have seen lots of different cake videos, and I don't do it their way. They may not be doing it my way. It doesn't mean their way's wrong. All right, so once I get this chunked up, then all I'm going to do is I am just going to take some pieces and start filling up my food processor. Next, I just have strawberry icing. You can use whatever cake and icing combination that you'd like. If you wanted to put chocolate icing in here, you could. If you wanted to use chocolate cake and strawberry icing, you could do that. It's completely your flavor combination. We are going to add a pretty big heaping teaspoon or tablespoon of this. See how it's already trying to form a ball? It's already come together, okay? So we're done with our food processor. We're just gonna use the bowl from now on. I'm gonna slide this out of the way. Now that we have our dough together, we're gonna use a cookie scoop, and we are going to use our scoop and then roll out the ball and drop it on the cookie sheet. If you don't want to use a cookie scoop, you don't have to. It's really just whatever works best for your particular preference and method. You do want to try to get roughly, the same size so that they look pretty uniform whenever you have them all done and they're on the platter. And we're gonna keep on going until we have all of our cake mixture formed into balls. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we are going to start melting our chocolate or our almond bark, candy coating, whatever you wanna call it. Some people put these in the freezer right now. I don't do that. And I've never had it go awry. But I also, it's the middle of winter here, it's not really humid, so I do know weather and humidity sometimes can play into that. So on the back of the candy coating, it talks about how to melt and all that kind of stuff. You can either do a double boiler method or you can do a microwave method. We are going to use the microwave method. The new packets of almond bark that's at my Walmart and my Kroger's looks a little bit different than this, but it's used for the same purpose and it will say almond bark on it. So I'm gonna take a microwave safe bowl, and my husband broke up that brick for me, and I'm gonna put just a couple of bricks in to get things started. You're gonna heat this up for like 30 seconds, and then you're gonna check it. And then another 30 seconds and you're gonna check it. And you're just gonna keep checking it and stirring it. You do not want to get this too hot because it will seize up. So you also kind of want to be careful to overfill it because it'll take longer for it to melt. So there's a little sweet spot that you'll find whenever you start making your cake balls and melting your chocolate. I'm probably gonna put 4 in here to start with. All right, this is how we're looking after about 1 minute and 15 seconds. So we still have a ways to go. Still have those big pieces in there. Just wanted to give you an idea of what it's looking like. Okay, I've done about half of the brick, and there's just a little bit of piece of chocolate in there that will continue to melt because all of the other chocolate is hot in there. So just want you to kind of see the consistency. Hopefully you can see that okay on camera. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back over to the counter and we're gonna start dipping them. You'll pay attention to your consistency. You may need to rewarm this up if you haven't used it all yet, if it starts getting too thick. All right, I have another sheet pan lined with parchment paper. The reason why that I do the parchment paper is so that it's easy cleanup and so that you avoid putting chocolate down your sink. If you put chocolate down your sink, it could cause a plumbing problem if you were doing it a lot. So I try to avoid any chocolate going under my sink. All right, whoops. So what I do is I just take my cake pop and I drop it in my chocolate. I've got several different tools that you can use. Some people use a toothpick. You'll come up with your own method. I'm gonna play around with these. I think this one's my favorite, but I can't remember. And what you're gonna do is you're just going to turn it around in your dough, in your chocolate, and then you want to drip off the excess. Can you see that it's still coming down there? And then what I kind of do is I kind of, whoops. All right, then you turn it out onto your cake pan, and then I cover up where the attachment was. And wherever they drop is wherever they are until they dry. I'm gonna take some of these Valentine's Day sprinkles and I'm going to put them on the top as well. These sprinkles are awesome because what they do is they cover some imperfections. You do have to get them on rather quickly before your chocolate sets. And then they'll dry right in place. Okay guys, we've gotten them all covered in the almond bark. Now we're just gonna let them sit for a few hours and dry. I'm gonna bring these up closer so that you can see them a little bit better. They look a little translucent whenever the chocolate is heated up, but they turn white as the chocolate starts to set. So we'll be back once these are dry. Our cake pops have dried, and I found these cute little candy trays at the Dollar Tree. They were on Christmas clearance for 50 cents. So that's where I got these little trays. And I wanted to bring these a little bit closer just so you could see a little bit better. They are so, so good. I went ahead and broke one of these apart so you could see how moist and how solid that the chocolate is. I'm pressing on this and it's not giving. So once you get them covered and dry, they're pretty stable. Obviously you want to be careful with heat because it will melt them. To store these, we put them in a Tupperware safe container. You guys, I love cake pops. I love them so much. I had not made them in about a year, so it took me a few to get back into the rhythm of how to dip them in the chocolate and those kinds of things. But don't stress if the first couple don't turn out, because you will get in a rhythm and they will be beautiful. The thing that I love cake pops so much for is all the diversity. You can make so many different flavor combinations of cake pops. They are moist, delicious, and it looks like you spent forever on them. So just wanted to give a quick shout out again to Desiree from Mama's Friendly for hosting this collaboration. Don't forget that Desiree's channel, as well as the playlist, will be listed in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, Jesus loves you, and happy almost Valentine's Day. See you in the next one.